Well, it is a really challenging reading, and I too was a little daunted when I looked at it and thought, okay. I'm pretty sure Jesus hasn't read that wonderful book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because this would sort of clear a crowd pretty quickly, wouldn't it? You remember all those wonderful 10 commandments, do not commit murder and do not commit adultery. Well, I'm suggesting even if you think of those things, then you're done for. And this is his calling to his disciples. He said last week, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you haven't got a hope. These are really strong challenges to a group of wannabe followers. And these are not the kind of words that you would sort of start off with if you wanted to normally gather a group of people to come with you. Normally you wouldn't say, you probably won't come back. This is going to be a life or death mission and you won't make it. More than likely you won't either. It's that kind of a statement, isn't it? You remember all those laws. Well, I'm telling you, you have to do way better than that if you want to be my follower. Well, if you look through this passage, we all get a bit of a roasting, really. The language is hard, and if we look at it seriously, we know that we all fall short of what Jesus calls his followers to. No matter which way you look at it, we're all going to be coming up without the goods. I wanted to share with you just a little passage, a little video, and it's about this guy called Monty Roberts. Now, before I show the video, I'll tell you a little bit about him. You might have heard of him, but he spent his youth in the high prairies of the United States, rounding up wild mustangs. He would watch his abusive father tie a new horse to a post with a bridle and a rope, and then frighten them with a blanket so that they would attempt to run away. And by repeating this process over and over, his father would eventually be able to break the spirit of the horse and control it in the way that he wanted. He observed another popular way of breaking in a horse was to tie it to a tree or a post and beat the horse until its will was broken, and the horse would then submit to the master. Now, watching this happen, Monty began to think that there had to be another way to train a horse, something that was more effective and more compassionate. So he went down to the plains, and Monty observed how the wild horses communicated with each other, particularly observing the position of the lead mare of a herd. And as a new horse attempted to join a herd, when a young stallion would come in, the lead mare would turn toward him. She'd flatten her ears back along her head and look directly into his eyes, and the language of and position of challenge. Now the stallion would stop his approach toward the mare, adopting the position of a juvenile horse, of a foal, by pawing at the ground and licking their lips and bowing in submission. The mare would then turn her flank towards the horse, that's her backside. I won't demonstrate. She would lift her ears and offer an invitation. And this was a powerful position of vulnerability for the lead mare, as when she exposed her flank, she exposed the part of her body that predators would always attack. It was a body position of vulnerability and openness, Now, the young stallion, given this invitation, would inch closer towards the lead mare. Then the lead mare would turn and the young stallion would flatten her ears and make direct eye contact again and issue a challenge again. This process of invitation and challenge would be repeated until the two would, inch closer and closer until they would eventually touch. An exhilarating moment called the join-up. And at that point, the young stallion would be admitted into the herd. Now, Monty began exploring whether he could replicate this process of alternating between invitation and challenge in training a horse. He found that when he acted like a lead horse, that the other horses adopted a submissive posture. When he exposed his flank and turned his shoulders, the horse inched closer. He simply imitated what he saw the lead mare doing. So today, Monty can fully train even the most abused horse in a matter of minutes. And when the horses are brought into the training ring, the process is deeply moving. His gentle